Okay people, have a look at this. Look at this, which caused me 2 hours of getting the client worried that we were going to have to take a brand new floor up because we got multiple breaks in the CPC of a ring final. But every ring final in the house we had multiple breaks in the CPC, and from one socket to the next, no continuity. Some sockets we did, but what we then realised is that the sockets we had continuity from one socket to the next happen to all be click sockets. Well, our Macedonian clients bought these online. He said they were Lutron, but there's no marking on the back and there's no CE mark on it either. I'm not quite sure how you manage to get hold of products like this in the UK, but at the risk of trying to play John Ward at his own game, which I could never do, I just want to show you the problem. So these here are marked for earth. So if I try and bell that out, I've got absolutely no continuity between the two earth connections there. That's line, that's neutral, and these are the earth. Also, I get no continuity between these earth connections, which are for the fly leads. No earth continuity there. And more confusingly, there's no earth continuity between this earth connection here and this earth connection here and the earth pin here. So there's no actual continuity between them either, and there's also there's no shroud to stop you putting anything into the socket. What I mean is, normally in the UK the earth pin, which is longer, enters the earth aperture first and pushes a shroud out of the way in order to open up these. But these you can open up just by pushing straight into them. They just open straight up without the earth going in. And because the earth pin going into there has absolutely no connection to the earth terminal on the back. Now that has got to be the most bizarre thing. Now it caught us all out, me and the other two electricians who were there, and we were searching around thinking there must be junction boxes in the ring under the floor. We phoned up the client, we said you've got to get in touch with the Macedonian electrician in Macedonia to ask him where these junction boxes are, because we're getting no continuity on the earth and multiple breaks in the earth on all his rings. So what do you think of that, people? And now on with the video. It's a cheery prospect in here because I've got my Christmas lights up. Twinkle twinkle little lights. They're not very twinkly, but they're quite twinkly. Now, clearing up is kind of the opposite of getting everything out, isn't it? But we're back in the morning. It's just gone 6 o'clock. I'm going to go over to Cities and get myself a PIR, possibly an auger, and an earth spike kit. And then we're going to go over before the insulation guy gets to the project and make the right arrangements so that I can use a PIR on the outside light. The insulation guy's van's got to fit in, so I'm just going to move my van out and go to City Electrical, get all the earth rods and the cable cleats and everything I need for the armour. I've put the 10 watt flood facing up just so it's reflected light, and a 3-core in earth in for the PIR, which will be on a 3-way switch, off, sensor on, and I've taped up so that it's all ready for the guys. Give any guidance that's needed on that. and carry on with consumer unit back here and the armour. She also wants Ethernet cable, which I'm going to put on a catenary wire, wall of the house into the trees here, and the catenary over, and that's going to be Cat 7 or Cat 6 armoured. Hi Simon. Oh, you've got, they're delicious, those things.
Yeah, I had a fresh one this morning.
Any questions?
No.
Is it looking okay?
Yes, it's fine.
Oh, you're fantastic.
So, yeah, they've all gone through. I've measured up the same distance from the floor,
Right.
and centre to the...
That's just fantastic. Brilliant. Well, you're getting on fast, aren't you?
Yeah, I've done my lunch.
Right. Thank you.
And then come back tomorrow to do...
Cladding, yeah. Okay. And I'm going to be on the consumer unit out here then.
And what about you, Would you like tea? Or a lemonade?
I've got tea.
Or would you rather lemonade?
No, I'll have tea, if that's all right.
Okay. Milk and sugar?
No, just milk.
Just milk.
Yeah, you don't have to keep running on getting me tea. Don't feel you have to do that.
It's not a have to. It's something I enjoy. Would you like some of those nice tarts?
Yes. These Nipex adjustables are very, very smart and nice to use, and I like this size of them as well. Okay, so that's all tight. We just need to expose the basic insulation from here upwards, which I will do using a basic tool, which is this knife. Take my specs off. Now we already have a split, so it's just a question of increasing the split. Got a bit to the base of that. Smaller than before, doesn't it? It really does. Smaller than before to me. But that is because the basic insulation is really thin. Let's just check it is. Yes, it is. It's 4. Good. So that's the armouring and the CPC for the submain kept outside of the consumer units. That's what I've forgotten. Lights. Today is testing of someone else's, I was going to say mess, but that's a bit rude because they've done their best with it. We've been there before. I put the consumer unit in and basically someone else was doing all the rest of the house. Don't ask me how I've got into this position, but it is, as they say, what it is. Put the lights out. Remind me your name again.
Danny.
Danny. So he's what?
Dave.
Dave and Danny. Here we are. We've got some more circuits down here that need identifying and connecting eventually. And we've got the bonding to tidy up, which I've got some tri-rated for. Tri-rated is 16mm, but that should be okay. And then got underfloor heating, which needs to be tested today. So I'll try and find out what circuit that's on. Okay, so we've got these circuits on the floor here. I've joined the CPC to the live and on two of the sockets, one in the kitchen, one in the dining room, and neither of them are showing up on here on any of these. So I'm going to do a long lead test next with the line to the sockets. No continuity with the long lead test CPC, so I'll just try a little experiment with little R1s. See if we can get little R1s. It says it's a ring. Oh. So we've got little R1s on that one. Little R1s on that one. We do have little R1s on these. Right, we're an hour or so later, and we were getting multiple faults in the CPC the whole time, and what we've just discovered is that there's no continuity between that earth there and that earth there, or that earth and that earth there, so there's no continuity in the socket. So wherever there's one of these sockets, there's a break in the CPC. So we're just going to go and replace all the sockets, but none of us have ever seen that before. It's just absolutely bizarre. It's taken 2 hours to get to the bottom of it. We were looking for joint boxes under the floor and all sorts. So, can you believe that? I mean, as two earth connections and there's no continuity between them, or with the earth, you can connect the CPC to the back of the socket and still get no CPC in the pin. So we're just going to replace it.
You do YouTube sex channels as well. Oh, sorry, I'm recording.
got new sockets in now, and then we're going to test the CPC again. Yeah. So we've connected in what I think is the kitchen ring here. It says 5. Yeah, so I think this is the kitchen ring, but I've just got to identify it on ones. My night clubbing days. I didn't have night clubbing days. Look at that. That's the work of a real electrician, isn't it? Eh? Yeah, that's the work of a real electrician. That's what we need, a real electrician in here.
You can do all sorts of types, look. You can do it so it's fading, and you can do the speed of it as well. So we slow the speed down.
Absolutely horrible.
Let's speed
Makes
up.
my eyes bleed, that was. Anyway, I've got another ring now that's got continuity of 0.09 ohms, so it's really tiny. See, what did he just say again? What did Dave just say again? You're quite cheap.
Yes, yeah.
They're quite cheap. He said I'm quite cheap. So now I'm going to do me R1 and R2 from over here. Let's see. Use the Q-Tech socket testing doobry, so I don't have to re-null the leads. But we're running out of battery in this tester, which is annoying. That annoys me. It gets me annoyed. 0.60, okay? Remember that. That's 0.60, it's a nice new socket. Oh, that's alright. .60. That's the missing CPC that you might have thought we'd have seen that straight away. Obviously not that observant. Dan saw it. Drew my attention to it. So, I'm ready to connect that into the, what Sonia calls the Millennium Falcon. I think she calls it that. See, when I turn this on, they're all polite.
There we are.
See all that politeness coming out of them. What I'm thinking of, okay, so it's a matter of fitting everything in. So we've got a spare 40 here, which isn't going to be used at the moment. And then a 40 amp could do the upstairs, which is only 32, it's only taking 32 amps, so I transfer that into there. Then I have got a spare 32 amp, which I've got up here, it's not connected. I can connect this one, if I connect that one into the board, then that's fine. But I'm freeing up 32 amp because we've got a little tiny ring that doesn't have a space at the moment. Or I could put another set of 32 amps in here. In fact, that's probably what I'm going to do, is put another, I could put another set of these in. Move all these up, out the way, put another one of these in. But my ordering of 40 amp, 32 amp, 6 amp here is going to pop. So they no longer bear resemblance from the order here to the order here, which was the plan all along, so that you can work out what was what. Anyhow, I guess the comments will I'll get lambasted for doing this. So be it on my own head. Morning again. Morning again. So what we've got here are the missing Fargos. Look at these. They go onto the DIN rail and transfer whatever you put in there to the DIN rail, which itself is earthed. So I've got several different sizes, and I was missing them yesterday, but then just found them on the shelf above my desk. high above my desk, not with their normal colleagues. So these are what I need to put in an extra connection. These are what I'll take. I think several things to do that weren't on my list originally. One of them is to join a high tough 6mm, which means coming through the wall with that. I've got to do all the bonding as well today. Any other testing, try and get the underfloor heating working, because that will make the client happy. It's quite late, so I'm going to start with a coffee, as I mean to go on, or a Pepsi. I'm getting quite addicted to Pepsi Cola these days. And then we'll sit down a bit later, hopefully, and I'll go through some of the problems that occurred in the job to put at the beginning of the video.
I kind of think if you bake in, and I guess if you're a fall-up target, maybe you can't even admit that it's all gone badly.
And that will be the lights on. 6s, and that will be the lights on. Screwed this in, because this had to come off the wall. When the DNO came out to put the new head in, I took this off the wall and put the aluminium behind, which takes the bonding and some of the earthing. So I've had to screw that in again using those concrete bolts, concrete screws. I've marked up 2 circuits as unidentified, and I'm not going to connect them. I've got my extra 32 amp in there. The way it works is that we count up 40, 40, 40, 32, 32, 32, 32. So the first 40 on the board is that one. The second 40 on the board is that one. The third 40 might be up here, is that one. The first 32, second 32, and so on. And then the first 6, which will be down here, down to the last 6, which will be up here. That's the way it works. So these are in order of the size of the fusing, and these aren't. But you should be able to work your way along. Where that falls down is somewhere around here. Yesterday I had to put in a 16 amp twin radials and swap it from a 32. So we're going to remark that up and make a note of it. The bonding, it's all done, so we bonded on there and tested the bonding, and that's all fine. And we've got a bit of bonding to do up there. That needs to be screwed in somehow. But yeah. That was lunch over. It was very nice. I had a tricolour panini which wasn't toasted. It had avocado, little green spinach leaves and tomato and focaccia cheese, or some kind of white cheese anyway. And I went to give Nigel, who has a shop opposite me, a bottle of champagne because he came and mended our dripping boiler at home. And I got BBC Music magazine, which I've never bought before. It has a CD on it of Christmas music from abbeys and choirs, 21 abbeys and choirs in Britain, 800 choristers and lay clerks and conductors involved in making this CD. And my son's cathedral, Portsmouth Cathedral, were doing an absolutely superb arrangement of I Saw Three Ships, which, as the Cathedral of the Sea, is so appropriate. And it's just the most amazing arrangement, really, really good. It sounds like Matthias at the end with the organ part and the syncopation. I can't play it because obviously it's I don't think I can play it. Maybe I can. I could ask whether I could license it and play it to you. But as a Christmas treat from Dr. Price at the cathedral, I can maybe get text him and ask whether I could get the copyright for it for a video. What I've got to do now is join this high tuff to what I'm going to take into. It's 4mm, but I'm going to take that up into my box.